Slow-mo! I've once been told by somebody that everything looks better in slow-mo. Or maybe I just saw that online somewhere. Proves to be true though. Who would have thought a shot through grass would look okay. Definitely still working on expanding the whole B-roll part. Not just random footage of me walking through a bit of Stevenson and call that B-roll. But we're just gonna continue expanding on how to do B-roll and get more angles. Speaking of angles, here's a new angle today to try out. We're gonna have you guys out front, see how this looks. We can switch back and forth. You're looking at yourselves. That's what you're doing right now. If anyone's wondering, this is River Road. Down by the south end of Richmond here. Really nice and quaint road, I gotta say. Not a lot of people, a lot of bikers. But I had the weirdest experience. So I'll post up some more pictures or like what I was doing, but I was basically just kind of like squatting around taking photos and videos on the motorcycle. There's this lady who walks by, and yes, I know this is a bit of a rant. She walks by and she spits on the ground. I'm like, what in God's name? First of all, it's a pandemic. Second of all, isn't that a little bit rude? It's like, I'm gonna walk by and spit on the ground beside you. It's like, what the hell is that supposed to mean? And people are weird. People are extremely weird. Let's go slow here. But yes, that is society, that is people. People, I guess, do probably know them. Can't really change it. But I'm excited though. I'm always so excited when I film videos because I realize the next week is just going to be a little bit better. We are coming up to high 10s, almost 20 degrees in temperature. There's no longer going to be cold. Extremely cold. But that also stems the other problem where then it's gonna be really hot. But I don't want to complain about everything, so as long as it's not cold, I can deal with the heat a little bit better maybe than the cold, I think, in this case. Neighborhood. Very quaint. And these houses are huge. Garage, railroad, what is it? A villa. And I believe this is where our chicken coop farms are, down over there. You see over there? Yeah, those are the Richmond chicken farms, I believe. Could be completely wrong. Oh god. Damn, it's gorgeous out here. So exciting. So I feel like this year, riding season, is going to be pretty interesting. And I say that because I think it's interesting dependent on where you're riding through and where you're riding in and out of. I understand that it seems that in Vancouver there's a huge prerogative to target people with modified vehicles. and I use the words target very specifically because it's one or a group of peace officers who are providing vehicle inspections on a fairly regular basis, in more so Vancouver than other areas. I understand that it's not just Vancouver, right? Not that it wasn't like, you know, like that was a problem like last year, but I understand that it's ramping up even further this year than it was last year. So it kind of puts a bit of a damper, I feel like, on what riding season or where we're going to be riding this year is going to be like, right? Now, before, we would visit, you know, my group of friends and I, we would visit downtown. We would go eat at restaurants in downtown. We would check out stores, so on and so forth, when we had time, a couple years back. But obviously before COVID, right? And it was awesome to be able to travel to downtown without worrying about, you know, the possibility of a police officer basically coming by and going, hey, your vehicle is modified, right? And it's not even to the extent where, yes, I get it. The law is written in black and white where you're not allowed to modify a vehicle, but it's gotten to the extent where it's even minor modifications that the cops are handing out vehicle inspections for, right? Yes, it's always been an approach of one or two of the police departments that we have in GVRD, where they target to reduce vehicle noise pollution, right? But now it's gotten to the extent where it's kind of like, hey, it doesn't even matter if you're one of those idiots who are revving the engine, blasting everywhere or anything. You're going to be associated with a crowd, and basically you're going to be faced with prejudice, where they're just purely going to be looking for vehicles that are modified and coming over and taking you, right? I've had some friends who've encountered it. I've heard of other people encountering it. I fortunately have not encountered it myself, so I'm pretty lucky that way, right? But you know, it feels like it kind of really sucks, and I feel like there may be more repercussions to it than some people might believe, and I feel like, you know, there are certain things out there that might be a little bit of a stretch, but I don't feel like this necessarily helps the city, especially during a pandemic, right? Because if you think about it, right, like can I drive downtown and visit these restaurants anyways in a car? Yes, I could. I definitely could. But the thing is, you know, I might not be heading in that direction if it wasn't for the fact that I'm riding. You know, because I'm riding, these restaurants or stores that rely a lot on foot traffic, so random walk-in traffic, because I'll be honest, there's a lot of stores I don't plan on visiting, but I end up taking a look, are now going to be visited by less pedestrians that would walk in, right? Because, you know, as a motorist or a motorcyclist, I'm gonna be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to avoid Robson. I'm going to avoid Vancouver overall, actually, right? It's an impact. Is it the end of the world? Is it gonna make or break a business during a pandemic time? It might. I don't think it's the sole reason a business might fail, right? But I don't feel like it helps, right? And it's a really bad situation as well if you think about it. Like, consider it. The reason why the conversation or the targeting ramped up in frequency was because of a dispute between an individual and a PD officer. That's my understanding, according to information that was floating out all around on Reddit or Redscene or whatnot, of people talking about it. That escalated, that got personal, right? Initially not because of the police officer, but because of the said individual, right? And now that police officer basically has a vendetta because of what that individual represented. You know, in the books, what he's doing, nothing wrong. PR sense, I don't understand what that police department is doing, right? And they got backlash for that. But they're still, you know, full throttle ahead. Yeah, kind of ruins it. So, although it might not be much, I'm gonna be trying to visit a lot of places this summer or this riding season, but for sure I'm going to be avoiding Vancouver as a whole as much as possible. Unfortunately, that includes downtown as well on a motorcycle, because I know for a fact that there's gonna be certain police officers just waiting there to see if they can catch you. Which again, I think is like a pretty shit experience, right? Like I have a 2005 vehicle, right? Some of these parts, because of how some manufacturers work, are obsolete. I can't get these parts anymore. Yes, I have an aftermarket exhaust, right? But you know, I can't get a OEM exhaust anymore. There's no way for me to find one. So am I gonna be in a position where basically if I get a vehicle inspection, there's nothing I can do, right? I don't know. I hope I don't have to find out realistically. So yeah, we'll see. This year will be, you know, I think we'll still be a lot of sea to sky heading over to Squamish for Squambucks. I gotta get me my coffee, you know. But yeah, I'm gonna say for the time being, Vancouver no more. That's unfortunate. Bye bye. Burnaby though, I'm gonna be finding more spots in Burnaby to look to check out. I think that'll be pretty cool. Never really pushed myself to explore Burnaby before. Or Coquitlam. Or Port Coquitlam. Or Port Moody. It's actually a lot of cities. Maybe it's a good thing that I have to stay away from Vancouver. A lot of things I can check out, a lot of things I can see. Oh yes. Also, on a second note, I am very excited because I get to try out and ride around on a motorcycle, a very new motorcycle for the next little while. Do a little bit of a review on it, things that I kind of noticed on that bike, and maybe do some how-to videos on some parts that are going to be installed in our vehicle, and how to go through the menus. It's gonna be pretty exciting. I'm very excited. Again, I ride a 05 motorcycle, so being able to ride something that's very modern is always very exciting. I'm very curious to see how those electronic assisted features change the experience. Yeah, be very excited. Get to broaden my experience with vehicles, and yeah, you'll see a sneak peek of a bit of it on Instagram. Maybe you'll see more of it on the next video. We'll see what happens.